This anime starts with an office dejin named Shin continuing his daily life when all of a sudden he gets hit by a car. We see him then wake up in a magical world where an old man named Merlin rescues him from a wrecked carriage. He still has all his memories, but they are a bit hazy. He then hunts for food using magic which was taught to him by his grandpa Merlin. After he finishes his hunting, he shows his grandpa the spoils before claiming he could have got more. Then out of nowhere they are both scolded by the grandma Mullida, who we find out crafted magic gear to protect Shin. After a few years at the age of 10, Merlin takes Shin to go demon hunting. He is taught how to use search magic where he spots a demon in the woods. He finds the beast tearing up the woods and, not afraid at all, instantly charges and slays the demon in one swoop. Together Mullida, Merlin and his sword's teacher Michael all chat in disbelief that he is able to progress so quickly. It is also shown he is working on his sword skills with Michael and is exhausted. Merlin admits that he is not actually Shin's grandpa like he's been telling him, and even though Shin already knew that, he still tries to figure out what happened to his parents. He ends off the conversation by reassuring his grandpa he loves him, which makes the old man burst into tears. 5 years later, at the age of 15, Shin celebrates his birthday, and they found out he is blissfully unaware of the world around him and has never even went shopping. He then shows off his magic, first with a teleportation spell, then an attack spell where he blows up a mountain with his fire. Mullida gets angry at the effects of his training. They then all decide that the Magic Academy is the right move for him, so he can learn about the world and continue working on his magic. Shin then finds out his family is actually some of the highest-ranking people in this world, starting with his uncle Desium von Earlsheed, who is actually the king of a nation Earlsheed. His big sis Chris is a member of the Royal Guard. His big bro Zeke is a veteran magician of the Court Magic Division. And his teacher Michael was the Knight Commander of the Order. After that is over with, they also explain that his grandma and grandpa were held to the highest regards after they defeated a demonoid and saved the country. They then arrive to the capital where a loudmouth guard leaks that they are in town and stirs a huge crowd. Shin finds out they have a huge mansion and a whole crew of housekeeping to take care of all their needs. Shin is then sent to go around the city where he sees some girls being harassed by weird dudes in the street. The guys try to fight him, but they are all quickly taken out. But then he has his toughest challenge yet, talking to a girl. He then goes out for food with the girls where Maria introduces herself, and the cute girl introduces herself as Sicilian. He then finds out that both the girls are students at the Magic Academy. They get to talking, and Maria is infatuated with Shin's grandparents, although she does not know Shin is their grandson yet, and proclaims she will get the highest score at the entrance exam. Maria makes fun of Sicilian for her crush on Shin, and then it skips to the entrance exam. As Shin is looking for where to go, a member of nobility, Kurt von Rietzberg, grabs his shoulder before getting slammed into the ground like a little baby. Then a stranger comes and puts him in his place for trying to use his status as a noble to push Shin around, as at this school, it is strictly forbidden to use your status as a tool to improve your position at the school. When he introduces himself, we find out his name is August von Earlshield, and is his uncle Desium's son, but says his friends call him Og. Then the entrance exams begin, and he goes to a practical examination and is surprised by how weak everyone around him is, and is embarrassed by all their incantations. He then shows the peasants how it's done by destroying the whole room with a fraction of his power and leaving them shocked. Shin then goes to get his uniform and textbooks when he finds out he got the top score. His uniform has been enchanted, and since his granny is Mullida, he gets special privilege to be able to modify his uniform even though it is usually not allowed. He then finds out that he has to give a speech because of his performance, and quickly tries to pawn it off to his new friend August, but he rejects the offer, claiming that it wouldn't be fair because he didn't get the highest score, although he really didn't want to do it either. It then cuts to Kurt freaking out over his score, losing his mind that a bum got top score and is in S class, while he only got I class. Shin gets home and immediately gets to modifying his armor and creates something that leaves Mullida in shock and says to not tell anyone about his armor. It then cuts to class where Sicilian shares that a student at the school has been harassing her, and come to find out it's Kurt, and he puts his hand on her, and Shin quickly slaps his hand right off. Kurt makes threats to Sicilian that he will get her dad fired from her job, but Prince August comes back to save the day and says that he will get Kurt's dad fired from his job before Kurt leaves angrily. Shin follows this by inviting his new classmates to his house, and offers to modify Sicilian's enchantments on her uniform. Malita presses Sicilian on whether she actually deserves his protection and finds out that his modification is actually national protection grade. Sicilian then says she is sorry for taking advantage of Shin and tries to leave, but Malita says it was a test, and she passed. Malita then says that she was very impressed with Sicilian's honesty and realizes that Shin will always simp for her. Shin then enchants the uniform and ends up creating enchantments that uses a bit of the owner's magic power to protect the area of the body the armor covers. After he creates this armor, he finds out it can start a war. He has regrets of creating it. King Earlsheed encourages his thinking until he finds out he changed his mind about creating one for his son and pushes him to just make a few more. Shin decides he's going to walk Sicilian to school, and when she's worried about the time, he shows them his teleportation spell and leaves everyone in awe. Shin walks Sicilian to and from school every day like the simp he is, and they all ask him if he wants to join a club, but he doesn't really feel like joining any. So he decides to be a Chad for a moment and create a club which the entire class immediately wants to join. This marks the birth of the ultimate magic study group. Meanwhile, in the background, King Dizzyam's council is stressing over the sudden spike in demon sightings and launches an investigation. Kurt's father, realizing he has a bot for a son, confronts him about his bad behavior, and Kurt just completely snaps, ranting about how commoners are worthless and how much he hates Shin. His dad has no choice but to pull him out of the academy. August, confused by how different Kurt has become, learns from Thor that Kurt changed after meeting a so-called blind teacher named Strom. Kurt, now locked in a room, gets visited by Strom before getting a spell casted on him, setting the stage for disaster. Back at school, Shin, telling his friends he killed a demon when he was just 10, makes everyone freeze in shock again, not knowing that anyone could be so powerful at such a young age. Not long after, his senses flare. He detects a demon nearby. And sure enough, Kurt shows up, but this time he's not human anymore. He's been turned into a demonoid, completely out of control and trying to kill everyone. Shin orders the others to run while he faces Kurt alone, hoping he can somehow break the demon magic without killing him. But when Kurt starts casting a spell powerful enough to wipe out the entire academy, Shin has no choice. He ends it in one move, beheading Kurt. Afterwards, August warns Shin that by taking down a demonoid, his name is going to spread everywhere. He's about to get famous, and that fame is going to make his life way more complicated. After everything with Kurt, Shin starts piecing things together and comes up with a theory. Kurt wasn't acting on his own. He was probably the victim of human experimentation. After Shin arrives home, Dizzyam steps in and awards Shin a medal for defeating the demonoid. But Merlin isn't exactly thrilled his grandson is getting dragged into politics, but Dizzyam says it is necessary because of the weight of his achievement, which Merlin agrees with. Now that Shin's name is out there, everyone wants to join his study group. His tutors actually have to screen new members just to keep things under control. 2 new students make the cut: Mark, the blacksmith's son, and Olivia, whose family owns a restaurant. Shin even asks Mark to help upgrade his sword so it can better handle his enchantments. Meanwhile, the security bureau looks into Strom, who pretends to feel bad about Kurt's death. They invite him to the castle to examine Kurt's body, but here's the twist. Kurt's name had never been made public. That means Strom knew way too much. The jig is up, and Strom blows part of the castle to pieces. Shin arrives, and the two face off in an intense duel. During the fight, Shin blasts Strom's mask off and reveals the truth. He was never blind at all. He's a demonoid. Shin counters with a brand new spell, a devastating heat ray so hot it literally turns the sand floor to glass. When the smoke clears, nobody knows if Strom was disintegrated or if he somehow managed to escape. The council asks Shin to explain the spell, but when he tries to explain the science behind his heat ray, nobody has a clue what he's talking about. And sure enough, Strom survived. Malita is concerned Shin will forever be a simp even though Sicilian is clearly in love with him. But Maria explains that Sicilian doesn't know what romantic feelings feels like and it'll be fine. They are now walking through the town when August realizes something is up with Shin. Shin shares his concern Strom is alive, so August pays Mark's father to design a new sword. The blacksmith tries to brush off August, but quickly backtracks when he hears his last name and agrees to make the sword. The king of Blusphia learns from Zest, his spy, Earlshide is troubled by demons and plan to invade. Shin decides to buy Sicilian a ring, flustering her, until he reveals it is for another defense enchantment, angering his friends and Sicilian at his idiocy. Later, Dude finally has his first romantic moment and puts the ring on Sicilian's finger. And they stand in love for a few moments. This moment is quickly spoiled, however, when he has to go accept his award in front of a huge crowd of people, and becomes the most popular person in town. Now seeing his friends are making him lose aura, he decides they need to level up. He asks to see how much magic they can currently control. Then he quickly realizes they are NPCs. There is a glimmer of hope, however, because with his enchantments they are all able to amplify magic control like crazy. Nonetheless, he drops everyone to their knees and says they will be doing magic control drills until they're not losing him aura. Out of the spotlight now, Strom and his subordinate Miria are shown secretly plotting against Blusfia's king. We see Shin teleport home, saying the fame is making his life difficult, before telling his grandpa about Project Level Up. His grandpa then ensures all the students that if they get the thought process down, any one of them is capable of reproducing his spells, which makes Shin very happy. With that newfound inspiration, Lin blows herself up, making her classmates slightly worried. But she assures them it happens a lot. After this, the blacksmith has finished his sword, and Shin goes to check it out, and was happy to see the blades could pop out. While there, he also cashes out and buys accessories to enchant for his whole class, making everyone excited. Seeing the potential in the blade, August asks if he can use it for the military and confides in Shin that war may be close for the Empire, leaving the class shook. Shin decides that even though he doesn't have to fight, if his classmates are in danger, he would willingly fight in the war. We now find out that this bozo of a king got played by Zest the spy, and they must fall back to deal with demons in the capital. Not tolerating the disrespect, the Earlshide army decide to push them back with all their might, but find out their troops were ambushed by a group of demons. Come to find out, Strom is the one ordering all the demons to attack, killing people mercilessly. He has also been working with Zest secretly and wants to welcome him home when he gets back. Strom's army has completely destroyed Blusphere's capital, leaving King Bozo furious. Adding to the humiliation, when he goes to sit on the throne, he finds Strom sitting there waiting for him. Strom then says that he wanted to be sure he was the one that kills him and gets absolutely bodied. Later, the Earlshide army arrives to complete devastation and find out they have been ambushed by Strom and his demon goons. This forces King Earlshide to enroll all the Magic Academy students into the army to help fight the war against the demons. The students are told that they are going to be working with the Knights Institute, which they are not happy about because they have to exercise and hate how they talk about magicians. The joint training begins, and they are put in teams of 8. The Knights quickly show that they are haters, calling them beansprouts behind their back. The Knights cockily say that they don't need their help to fight the demons, and they should stay out the way. August takes them up on that and tells everyone to let them fight alone, which makes them nervous but still agree to do so. They then run into a demon boar charging straight for them and get completely dog-walked until Shin steps in and saves the day by cutting off its head in one blow. This finally opens their eyes that they are weak and agree to work together. They also get a good view of Sicilian's knockers turning them into huge simps and helping her with the smallest things, making Shin super angry. Now, noticing a pack of over 100 demons on their way, Shin decides this is a good opportunity to let off some steam and completely obliterates all of them, leaving a giant crater stretching miles. After his win, he quickly reminds us he has zero game when they say Sicilian is his girlfriend, which he denies sheepishly. The team now seems to be working surprisingly well together, making quick work of the next demon they encounter. Zeke, interested on how his classmates got so strong, asks for Shin to teach him, but August shuts this down, saying since he's a soldier, they would be getting Shin way too involved in the military if he did so. We then see that the other teams are complete bots and are more interested in flirting than anything else, but lose all their aura whenever a demon shows up. The training continues in a remote area when August tells everyone when the war begins they will be vital in the army, but it won't be easy since the demon army is growing. Shin, realizing it's Strom, decides to start a training camp, and they all agree to train at Sicilian's family hot spring. On the way there, they encounter a large pack of demons, and with their newfound power, quickly take care of them. They begin the training camp by working on their magic control, and it pays off as Mulida claims they are now as strong as the court magic division. Shin tells everyone to watch his new spell, so they promptly use protection magic, preparing for impact. As it turns out, it is a more concise version of his old spell, making all the energy go in one direction. August then asks for Shin to make a gate back home, where we find out he has a fiancée. She is upset that August left her and his little sister here while he trains, and says she wants to join him. They then get King Earlsheed's permission to go and start traveling around the town. Mulida and Merlin are greeting their new students when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Sicilian says she wants to have Shin's babies. Realizing her mistake, she quickly runs away. Shin, in deep thought about the chance to make babies with Sicilian, has no hesitation in making her his girlfriend. Later, they are supposed to be sleeping and almost get caught by Mulida, but quickly hide. Shin, now laying with his new girlfriend, couldn't help but get a quick feel in, and ends up getting everyone yelled at for being awake. Back to the training, all the students are much stronger now and can actually do some damage. But Lin is still blowing everyone up. Shin decides since they are all training so hard, he needs to show them who's boss and starts flying. Shin and his grandparents go to meet with Sicilian's parents after they found out Shin got engaged to Sicilian right after meeting with her parents. They break the news that Shin isn't their real grandson, and Sicilian's parents get upset that his grandparents thought they cared about that, and they all end the night happy. The next day, Shin decides they all need new fits so that they can all fight a catastrophic class demon. Now searching for the demon, they find a demon lion and decide to attack it from a distance, which they needed because they blew up the whole forest for no reason, leaving a giant crater behind. With their newfound confidence, they go around slaying all the demons before going back to celebrate Shin's engagement to Sicilian. Now at Strom's castle, we see Zest is a demon now and claims that every town and village in the Empire has been destroyed. Strom then tells all his demon followers that he's completed his goal and no longer wants to work with them. When asked why he hates the Empire so much, he says 2 years ago he loved and contributed to all the commoners of the Empire, but the nobles plotted against him because of this. They began spreading rumors among the commoners about a kidnapper in town. After a few months, once the rumor had spread, they invited Strom to the capital and staged his wagon to appear as if it contained kidnapped women. This led the commoners to burn down his house with his wife still inside. His wife being killed sparks so much rage in him that he turns into a demon before blowing up the entire area. Zest, wanting the war to continue, suggests staging an attack so that Shin has to fight and hopefully bring Strom back for revenge. August is having his ceremony to become crown prince when suddenly a guard comes in screaming the kingdom of Swedes is being invaded by demons. The citizens attending get worried about this, but August tells them all about the study group and that they will all fight the demons. Shin then gets handed the mic, where he's forced to give a speech which goes over well with the crowd. Deciding they needed even more aura, the whole class flew away in front of the amazed spectators. In Swedes, we see the army getting attacked by an entire horde of demons, and they start destroying the city. Right on cue, Shin and his team show up to dog walk all the bum demonoids and start saving the injured. While they are busy in the city, some sneaky demons try to pull up on the medical center, but they were too slow and got burnt to a crisp. One of them attempts to make a last stand using some magic gear he picked up, but got overwhelmed and received a hole through his body. Zest, realizing he sent a bunch of bums to fight for him, sends Miria to clean up. She immediately shows she's way better than those other guys by blowing up an entire area as she enters. Wasting no time, she gets straight to throwing hands. All the bums, too scared to fight, run away, but Shin cleans them up with his magic cannon, blowing up the whole top of the wall. After Shin realizes his team is getting cooked by Miria, he goes to save them. Unlike the other demons, Miria seems to hold her own against Shin and almost blows everyone up on her retreat, but Shin is able to create a shield and stop her for now. Strom watches the demons retreat from a distance and says that Shin will keep things interesting for the future. Now that things have settled down, Shin shows off his healing magic by saving a woman's husband. This makes Sicilian feel useless because he always outshines her, but the townspeople show their appreciation, which makes her happy. August, questioning what Strom will do next, forms an alliance with the Swedes. After returning home, they are surprised by a huge celebration for their successful mission and are now all celebrities. Back at Strom's castle, Strom says he enjoyed watching them fight, only saying that he wishes they went at it more intensely and asking Miria how their other endeavor is going. The anime ends as Shin's whole team vows to protect the world and flies away.